What's up, folks? This is your boy Dino, aka your Solid Five,
And Nikki T,
and
and
we
we
are the
are the Boo
Boo
Crew.
Crew. Today we got a very, very, very special guest with us in the building. Not in the building, but on Zoom. Um, Mrs. Claire Cartwright,
That's right. Welcome.
and welcome.
Thank you.
Many welcomes.
Thank you
Um,
very much.
so, for those that have seen the movie, she is from Benny Loves You. She plays Dawn, which is the one of the survivors slash love interest of the movie. Um, so let's jump right on in. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, very good. Um, Happy that the sunshine is almost out in England. Almost.
Okay.
What time is it over there right now?
It's 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just
And when
starting
I
our day.
say England, actually, I'm in Wales. I live in Wales, so
Oh,
I saw that on your Instagram. The video says that you love Wales, so
yeah, I do love Wales.
so that's where you reside.
That is where I reside, but only quite recently. I moved from London
Okay,
to Wales. So
nice.
yeah.
yeah, I know nothing about the UK, so
Oh, really? Well, Wales is like part of the same, you know, island of land, but
Yeah,
it's a distinct.
yeah, I saw like on the map. I was looking it up. I'm like, where is Wales exactly? Because
Yeah.
I don't want to look too much like a fool. So
That's all
yes.
right. That's all right.
It looks
I don't know loads about the US.
it looks like Wales is more like open, like it's like. 'Cause I saw your video, and there's a lot of nature, and there's a lot of
Right.
scenic, beautiful
So
scenic.
so that video I was up in there's kind of a mountain range called the Brecon Beacons, and it's just unbelievably beautiful. But actually, I was talking to someone yesterday. The mountains and the kind of landscape in the UK is a very different. It's a very different thing to your kind of wilderness landscapes in the
No,
US. You guys have like scale in a way that we just don't.
no.
Ours are kind of smaller vibe, like a cute version.
yeah, but it looks gorgeous. I mean,
It
just
does.
from what I saw, yeah.
It's cute.
So you filmed this what 2015?
My God, I mean, you're actually going to have to tell me. I don't know. It feels like it was so long ago. 2015, sure, yeah.
Because I think
Something like
because I saw that it was like I think wrapped up in 2016, and then
it was what, sorry?
it was wrapped up in like 2016. Like you guys
Right.
finished it, and then it wasn't released until about 2020, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I mean, because it was, yeah, I mean, all the editing was done, um, slowly by,
Yeah,
it was amazing. It was a labor of love. It took a really, really long time,
Yeah,
because there was no money, right?
right, right.
yeah.
Uh, so everything was done on this micro budget, um, by Carl. Like he literally did every
Everything, right?
conceivable facet of it, and he worked so hard on it. And he loves movies, and so uh, he just was a perfectionist, and it was his baby. So yeah, it
Yeah.
took a really long time
I
to
mean, I
get
can
it.
tell just by watching it, just how like, just how much like love and just everything he put into the movie.
Right.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
feel it coming out of it. Like you can feel, I think it has so much heart,
Oh
that
yeah,
film, right? Because it's created by, I mean, Carl is not he's not just really clever, but he's a real kind of movie fan,
Hmm.
and a fan of this genre as well. So he there were so many influences, there were so many kind of references, and it was a really beautiful kind of textured film. If and for film lovers, and particularly this genre, I think there's loads of things to find. People
Oh
who
yeah.
come to it, you know, without really any of that context, I think find it are a bit like surprised by it. Um, but it sings for a particular audience who really kind of appreciate that genre of film.
Yeah, definitely did, because it surprised me how great it came out.
Really,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
we love this movie. Yeah,
Did
Yeah,
you? Oh, good.
yeah.
I'm so pleased.
I was
Yeah.
so bummed out. I actually ordered the little Benny doll online, and it didn't come in time. And I was like, I wanted to get it for the video, you know. But
Oh yeah. You know what? I have one, but
oh, that's so cool. I love it.
as in the like the teddy the
Yeah,
teddy.
Yeah.
So
then it has
they
like the little voice thing in it too. So
yeah, right. And they
yeah,
sent me one, and obviously it's got like a knife with blood in it.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
I
my
love it.
2-year-old daughter picked it up and was like, "Oh, what's this?" I was like, "Ah,
Oh,
and
it's a stick.
it's in her bed. She's now 5. It's in her bed as we speak, and
Oh
she's
wow.
like, "This to the knife." She's like, "This is a carrot. He's holding a carrot," and everyone's
That's so awesome.
We'll go with that.
like,
Yeah.
"What's a carrot?" Sure. And one day she's going to wake up and she's going to realize, and it's going to be really traumatic.
One day
That's
it's gonna be like,
awesome.
that looks like ketchup, and then it's gonna be like, no,
Yeah,
that's blood.
yeah, yeah. Hang on.
Yeah, so
You
this
Benny's
mo-
been cooking.
this movie was really good because when I first saw this trailer, I saw the trailer and I told my buddy, I said, we have to watch this. You know, because I just saw a doll running around killing people, and it looked hilarious. I was like, we gotta watch this movie, and we watched it. Turned out we loved it. We thought it was amazing.
Amazing.
I thought Benny was adorable, and it
Yeah.
just
I know, but that's the genius of it, right?
yeah,
He's adorable and a psychopath.
yeah,
Yeah, it's exactly my words too.
Adorable psychopath. It's so
Yeah.
messed up.
I kept
yeah.
telling Nick that. I was like, dude, he's a psychopath, but you love him at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
I want one. My God, I mean, you bought one. You
Yeah,
literally
oh
bought
yeah, I had
one
to.
for your own.
So did you know Carl Holt like beforehand or
No, no, I can't. No, I auditioned for him. It was. I mean, I can't even remember. I can't even remember. I mean, he probably just went through my agent, or I can't even remember how it happened. But we met. You know, I did an audition for him, and he was such a sweet, lovely man, and got on really well. And he was a real, you know, because he was writing it, and he was doing absolutely everything.
Mhm.
Actually, that could have made him a real like a kind of control freak, but actually what it meant was that he was super collaborative.
Hmm.
Like he
Okay.
really wanted anyone who was working on it was, you know, we were all doing a bit of everything. And so even in the audition, when we first met, you know, he was asking me questions, right? And allowing me to kind of build the character with him.
Oh good.
Uh, and that was
That's
great.
awesome.
That was lovely.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
know sometimes like even me as a creator, I'm very dead set and in some of my ideas. So it's
Right.
nice to know that like there's that open mind of sort of, give back,
Right. Yeah, he was a really clear and you know he really knew what he wanted, but I think the he had confidence in what he was building, which
Right.
allowed for him to have that generosity. You know, it allowed for him to allow his actors or his designers or whoever it was who was helping him with whichever bits, he allowed for their kind of creative input in a really nice way. And again, because there was no because there was no budget,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there were so few of us, and it meant that actually almost the pressure was off. The bigger the budget, the more people there are, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And the more almost the more kind of dogmatic it all has to be, because the machine is bigger, whereas this was very kind of light on its feet, because there was no money. We were all kind of just goofing around and um kind of making things work as best they could. And actually that is a really nice way to make a film. It's really
Yeah.
liberating.
I mean, that's how I imagine it. I've never been on a set or like, but I can imagine just those kind of like intimate like settings are just more fun and more collaborative, in a lot of ways. So
Yeah, there's a real kind of playfulness about it, that a kind of a much bigger production doesn't always allow for to the same extent. Anyway, I mean, it depends on a lot of things, but certainly
right.
for me, that experience was um, it was really fun and loose and funny. We laughed. My God, we laughed a lot.
I would hope
Yeah.
so because I would too.
Right, it really took a long time to get through some of those scenes without corpsing everywhere.
That being said, did you have it? Was there any scenes in the film that were very difficult to film?
Well, in terms of the laughing one, there's a baked bean. I have it eat. I go over to his house on like a date or something. I can't quite remember, and he makes me baked beans. Is that right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Something. I just remember trying to film that, and just neither of us could get through it. I don't even think that scene is particularly funny, but for some reason that day we were just all over the place, and there was like, yeah, there was a lot of very, very late nights, and there was a
Mm,
lot of, um, you know, people like hiding in cupboards with a wind machine with loads of feathers, and like,
Yeah.
it
okay.
was, if you turned the camera around, you'd have seen a lot of people, or actually not a lot of people, just a few people, like putting themselves into a pretzel, trying to kind of make the smoke or get the sound or do the light or whatever. It was so yeah, it was challenging, but challenging in a good way. That I don't remember any bits where I thought this is rubbish. This is,
Because the budget was so low for the filming, how many people are actually working on set for this movie?
oh, like five?
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if that. I mean, honestly, we were all doing everything. Like I was like holding a boom.
Yeah.
We we were right. If you weren't in front of the camera,
You're
you were probably acting as crew.
Yeah.
okay.
Wow.
Um,
That's
right.
very interesting, actually.
It was,
That's
but
pretty cool.
it was great. It was
Yeah.
really, and and crucially, there was no ego. You know, we were all just in it because we wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are all equally giving everything. So
Right, and also Carl is such a brilliant guy that we all really wanted to help him make this work.
hmm
So everyone was like all hands on deck, and as I say, like holding a boom or like rigging up a light or doing whatever all the
that's
time.
pretty
Um,
that's rad.
boy, are we glad you guys did that because
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of
again,
course. But it wasn't like we were going like back to a trailer to,
yeah,
to
I'm gonna
You
act.
have a
never
beer. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, yeah,
you never would have thought watching this that five people made this movie.
right.
Because it came out great.
I know, right? But and that again, that partly is the heart of everyone who did it, and also uh, Carl just painstakingly editing at the
Yeah.
end. I mean, it took him years, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that online that it took him a very long time, but I mean it paid off, obviously.
Yeah, right.
Were you able to keep anything on set from the set?
Good question. I think I stole a couple of bits of costume, but I mean, maybe they were my clothes anyway. They weren't. They were bits of costume, but I don't think I did actually. It was all kind of creepy.
Okay.
Like I didn't really feel the need to take like any of the creepy dolls or like the weird the weird stuff. There's like heads hanging off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I mean, like especially early on in the film, there's like that scene of like I guess kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre where like all those dolls are just mutilated, and
yeah,
I was like, oh, that's a interesting way to start the movie, but
yeah, yeah. No, I didn't take any of those. Now looking back on it, maybe I should have. Maybe I should have started some weird like headless doll collection.
it's just like I didn't have to.
It's a conversation starter.
There you go. Yeah, just have a glass of wine. Let's talk about this. All right.
That's right.
Exactly. Come into my home.
um, has there been any talks about a sequel?
Yeah, there have. Yeah,
Okay.
I think a lot of people um, really wanted Carl to do it, and I think that there was, yeah, I think there have been talks with various, like, I actually don't know who, but um, production companies or whatever.
Right.
But I think that all of the elements would have to be right,
Of course.
in terms of time, in terms of money, availability, or whatever, and script and
Yeah.
Right.
creative freedom and all the rest of it. So, as far as I know, the stars haven't aligned um, thus far, but definitely it's in the air. It's been spoken about for sure.
Well,
Speaking of the script, this is a curious question. Do you know how long it took Carl Holt to write that movie?
Oh, I've got no idea. I
Okay.
mean, probably like years.
Yeah.
And it kind of depends. I honestly don't know. Maybe he sat down one weekend and wrote it, but I don't think so. And it may be, it may be that it was. I think it was like percolating in his head
hmm
for a while before. I mean, a long while because he'd made a short. That's right. He'd made a short of Benny that he put into loads of festivals, and it had gone super well.
Yeah.
Uh, and so that was kind of the genesis of it. But I can't remember how long previously that had been.
Yeah.
Um,
that was 2006, I believe.
oh, was it?
Yeah.
Right, right.
I just forgot it's not Benny Loves You, it's Something Loves You, but I forgot what the doll is supposed to be called.
Have you seen it?
I have not, no.
Uh,
Unfortunately, we can't get a lot of stuff in the US.
yeah.
Um, like I was trying to well, we'll get to this other question later, but yeah, I've been trying to find some other films and stuff, but for some reason in the US we can't get a lot of stuff. So,
Yeah. It's been
Right.
hard because
That's annoying.
we've been searching, like deep searching, and it's been
Of
hard to
course.
like
For
locate like
like
a stream.
specific films.
Well, specifically the thing with feathers.
Oh yeah, I think that hasn't been released yet.
It
oh, it
hasn't.
hasn't. Okay.
No, so it premiered at Sundance earlier this year, and then, but I think that's it certainly hasn't been released in the UK.
Okay.
I don't think that's been um, released properly anyway yet. So yeah. You don't need to worry
Okay.
about it.
Cool. Yeah. Because we were like, oh my god, we cannot find this movie. Uh,
I think that will come to you. Yeah, I think that will come to you, but I don't know when. I can't tell
okay.
you when.
Okay. So we'll keep a lookout for it for sure.
Yeah. That's not. Yeah, I don't think that's a case of that not being released in America.
Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
well. Oh, yeah, we were like freaking out. We're like, why can't we find this thing?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
So,
I was I was literally telling them I was like I'm gonna ask her if she could send us this movie, dude, because
yeah.
we got to watch this.
I'll just like get you a pirate copy and send it over. But I haven't seen that movie. I haven't seen that movie either.
Oh, well.
Um,
Really? That's pretty
no,
cool.
no.
Well, I
We
know that happens. Yeah.
you know how? Yeah, right. Have you read the book?
No, I just I was interested in your other films, and so when I saw that, I was like, well, I got to check that out too, you know. So
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be pretty amazing.
I'm gonna go
It's,
check out this book actually because I like reading a lot. So I'm
so the
now
thing with
now I
feathers,
know it's a book. I'm gonna go check it out.
it's by Max Porter, who's
Max
like
Porter.
Max Porter.
Okay.
He's a British writer, and he is so he's like my hero.
mm,
Um, and I read the book years and years and years ago, and
Yeah.
it changed my life.
wow,
And it became like my favorite book. It was one of those like treasure books
Yeah.
okay,
that you read it at a particular time, and it really sticks with you. And and I would always recommend it and lend it out and do whatever. And then um last year, whenever it was, my agent called me and was like, "Oh, have you ever heard of this book, Grief is the Thing with Feathers?" I was like, "Well, yeah,
Duh.
that's, I haven't just heard of it. I'm like the biggest fan of it." And he was like, "Oh, they want you to do it." So that was a real like universe
Yeah.
uh,
The
doing
stars
something.
aligned and stuff. Yeah.
Right, the universe just like giving you a gift and being like, "There you go."
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that was amazing.
Real quick, because you read the book.
I
Would
did.
you say after filming this movie was just as good as the book?
I mean, I haven't seen the movie,
Yeah.
crucially, um, but I think that's always a kind of an impossible thing to answer, just purely because the mediums are so entirely different.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Hmm.
think that the experience of reading a book and the experience of watching a movie can't really. I just don't think there can ever be a comparison. Sometimes you can love a book and hate a movie, and
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
or hate a book and love a movie, and or sometimes love both. But I think that you love them in sort of in isolation. You love the movie because you love the movie. It's not really because or despite of the fact that you love the book. Does that
Mhm.
make sense? Sorry, it's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
long-winded and non-committal answer, but the answer is I don't know. I haven't seen it. I loved filming it. I had honestly the most incredible time filming it. So if the film is as good as the time I had making it, then it'll be amazing. It's not always
Um,
like that though.
so how
Right
was it
on.
working with Benedict Cumberbatch?
It was so cool. He was so he is so good at what he does. It was really beautiful to be around someone like that. He's really warm and encouraging and supportive and funny and great. He was so like charming and lovely.
I would
He's
probably freak out because I'm like, that's Doctor Strange. I don't know what to say to him.
Yeah, right. Right, but the thing is, his feet were kept firmly on the ground by the two amazing boys who played our children.
Mhm.
Who, like, first time they saw him, they were like taking the Mickey out of his surname, and they were like calling him Benedict, like Black. They were refusing to get it right. Um, and he was so funny about it and sweet and
That's
generous.
great.
It made the set really nice. But I know a lot of people who, when they meet Ben, are like, "Ugh."
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm one of them.
And also like Sherlock Holmes. Did you see? Are you into Sherlock Holmes?
No, but I heard it was great.
Right, it
I
was
haven't
great.
been able to.
People
Yeah.
people go crazy for that show. So yeah, I think yeah, in certain like territories he's massive for Sherlock, and then in others it's Doctor Strange, and yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
he's cool. He's a very
That's
very
awesome.
busy man.
That's
So
good to hear.
so in that same sort of like vein, what has been your favorite project to work on?
Oh, I don't know if I have a favorite. I mean, do you mean film or theater as well?
Um, let's go with film first.
Just film. I mean, the two you've mentioned were amazing, and for kind of the opposite reason. Like Benny, as I said, was so kind of guerrilla filmmaking and goofy and all hands on deck, and everyone, there's no money, and it's kind of fly by the seat of your pants. Whereas the thing with Feathers was this huge budget and this incredible machine with these sets that were just like mind blowing. There's a scene in a like a really snowy park, um, and obviously I can't even remember when we did film it, but you can't find a snowy park, so they had to create a snowy park, and It was so cool watching people at the top of their game, just absolutely smashing it. Um, and also that is my favorite book of all time. So it was just
Right.
it really, really, really magical being on that set and doing that job. I loved it. Yeah.
And if, basically, I think my well, maybe not last question for Benny at least. So it was nominated for I think 8 awards, but it won 4. Were you able
Right.
to attend any of those festivals and stuff?
No, I didn't. I didn't go. I think Carl did. I'm not sure, but we were all busy working. I think I was doing a show, and no, so we sent him off into the world to
Okay.
get all the celebration and attention that he deserved.
Exciting though.
Yeah, really exciting. Yeah.
With the movie Benny Loves You, how was your experience with working with the gore effects and all that good stuff?
It was really fun. It was really fun. I hadn't done anything like that before. I hadn't been out of drama school for that long. Uh, maybe like a bit, but it was amazing. And the guy who did all the wounds and the gore and
Yeah,
the blood, he was an artist. Like it was really amazing to kind of watch. And I'm squeamish. Like
yeah,
Okay.
I do not enjoy blood. And also, I really like. I'm scaredy cat. I can't. I don't watch horror movies. I'm not like Carl. I'm like, oh. But actually, being inside it is fun.
yeah,
Squirting blood and like knives and all the gore and yeah, it was really interesting. It was great and like it's so um kind of it's so clever and scientific to get
Mhm.
the right texture of blood and the right color and where things would come apart and
hmm,
that's really someone's job.
No,
yeah.
there's
Really
definitely a science
know
to it.
how to yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's really
That's that's
fun.
so awesome.
Yeah.
How many times did you have to hear Benny say "I love you" on set? And like, did it drive you like? Did it like haunt your dreams
I think it
afterwards?
was 38 million or 38.1 million or something like
Oh wow.
that. No, it was all right. And do you know what? I'm trying to think. I think quite a lot of those were put in post production.
Wow.
There were some where you like literally there was a guy pressing it
Yeah,
Okay.
so that it would say it, but it's so cute, right?
I
yeah.
think my favorite one is
How
this
could you
one.
find it annoying?
My favorite one is this one right here. You guys
What
hear
was
that?
that? No, I didn't hear it.
No.
Okay. Well, he was like, "Ta-da!"
Oh yeah, yeah.
So ridiculous, but great.
Ridiculous, ridiculous.
That's funny.
Like a dog. Um. So about your whole Shakespeare school or not school, but your production, right?
No, it's not a production. I've got like a business called Friends with Shakespeare, and I run adult Shakespeare courses.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
so either in person or online, and there's like wine and food and candles and a fire, and it's like
Hmm.
Hmm.
it's like the opposite to school. Um, and you come and so we do I do. Uh, 5 2-hour sessions, and Shakespeare plays are split into 5 acts, so it's like an act per week.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and we talk about all the history and the politics and the philosophy and the ideas and the themes and the language and all that. And we read it aloud, and you get to the end of a King Lear speech, and you're like, I have no idea what I just said. And we'll go slowly over it, and we'll look at it, and we'll kind of pull it apart and discuss it. And the idea is that at the end of the 5 weeks, we go to the theatre to see it.
Oh wow.
And it means that people are going to go and see a Shakespeare play and really understand like every scene and every uh, kind of speech and every decision that the actors and the director have made, and they can have an exciting, kind of fulfilling time in the theatre rather than going to a Shakespeare play in the theatre and
Yeah.
And be like, what did I just see? Yeah.
even if you know the story, you're aware that you're missing about 50% of what's going on just because of the language and all the
Yeah,
rest of it.
I would have to do that because I know nothing about any of it. So
Yeah, right, right. But a lot of people don't, and also it's hard. You know, you don't. No one just sits. I mean, very few people just sit by themselves and educate themselves on Shakespeare or like
Yeah,
read.
learn
right.
Shakespeare.
Right? Like who does that? So it's like a sociable way to do it, and I feel like a lot of the time when people are at school and their teachers are like, right, we're going to study Richard II or like I don't know Julius Caesar or something.
Yeah,
When you're like 15 years old, you don't want that. You don't care.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
Yeah.
not what you're there for. That not everybody, if you have an amazing teacher, it can be really kind of life changing at an earlier age. But I think
Hmm.
when people start to really enjoy Shakespeare properly is when they're adults and
Yeah,
they've lived with
Right.
it.
Right.
They can understand all the like big kind of stuff that sits within it. When you're at
yeah,
school learning Shakespeare, you don't know what anyone's talking about because
yeah. No, it don't make no sense.
partly because the language is difficult and partly because you haven't experienced any of these things.
Yeah,
Right.
And so I find that for people who've lived a bit of life and have loved and lost and had ambition and done done some life, that's when it really starts to sing. That's
Yeah,
what
that's how I feel about it now. There's no way I could have done that 20 years ago and
right.
been like, but now I'm like, okay, I could actually soak in a lot of the stuff, as
Right, and like, but same for films, right? I bet there are films that you loved when you were really young that you watch again and you're like, oh God, well that
yeah.
film that
yeah,
it means
It's
so much more. Like it's a
it's
different
completely different.
yeah,
right because you missed like 60% of what was actually going on in that film when you were young. So
You know,
right, right.
definitely. There's definitely a lot of films that I've seen when I was a kid. I watch them now as an adult, and it comes off a completely different way. I understand there's so much like underlying in the movie that I didn't understand when I was younger than I understand when I'm older.
yeah, right.
Well,
It's
that could be
like
the set
watching.
as music as well too, So
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I
yeah,
mean, all art, right? Whether it's a painting or a bit of music or a book or a film or a TV show, I think that's right. And especially if it's good, like if it's good quality, actually it kind of morphs and it moves because it's multifaceted. It's got different characters in it or
Mhm.
different, bars or whatever it might be that that actually, if you are 30, it sings different to if you're 60, and because it's written with
hmm,
detail and nuance, and it's not just 2D, it's three
yeah,
dimensions. Good. You can sort of tell. You can tell if it's good because you want to keep coming back to it.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. So, what led you in to Friends with Shakespeare? Like, how did you come across this? How did you get into it? What led you in this direction?
So I like my acting career has been like a lot of actors, uh, feast or famine.
Hmm.
So, I'm either working and earning and it's great and I'm in the West End or I'm in a film or I'm doing whatever, or I'm not working and then it's hard. And so to supplement my acting income, I did like I was a tutor and I used to tutor kids in Shakespeare
Hmm.
as well as other things. And I hit 30 and I was like, huh, I don't want to, the way my career is,
Yeah,
it's not linear. It's not like I work in a bank and can get promoted and
yeah,
I know that when I'm 50, I'm going to be earning this much and doing whatever. I was like, I want to have kids. I want to
yeah,
be able to feed my children
yeah,
every
Right.
day, not just Sundays. Uh, And I was like, huh, how am I going to do that? Because I really didn't want to stay being a tutor um, any longer. And so I actually kind of ran away from my life just for a bit of a breather. And I came to
Mhm.
LA, to Los Angeles for a few months to just figure out what I was doing. And I took acting classes and meetings. And,
Mhm.
Mm.
I worked out there for a little bit, uh, just doing my acting thing,
Mm.
and thinking about how I was gonna kind of move forward with my life. I wanted to always be able to be an actress. I wanted a side hustle that would facilitate that. So it needed to kind of tick all the boxes, and I wanted to be able to have children and do all these things.
Yeah.
And so I guess, gathered together all of my skill set and what I wanted to do. What I enjoy, which is speaking
Yeah.
uh, to adults rather than to teenagers who couldn't give a shit.
Right, right.
Right?
So when you went to LA,
You're
was that
right.
like
You're right.
was that a culture shock when you like kind of showed up and just kind of seeing all the different communities in the area?
Yeah, it really was actually, and I was ready for it. Like I'd been to LA before, but
Okay.
only kind of briefly, and spending a bit of time there, like particularly coming from London, uh, and going to LA, like it is so different.
Right.
If going from London to New York, it's really different, but at least there's this that you can still walk around, and so you have the experience of being in a
Yeah.
city the same sort of way. Whereas in LA, it operates profoundly differently,
Yeah.
and the people there operate differently. The way the city works and moves and sits, um, and people, the values and the energy and the culture and the food and the languages. It was completely different. It was beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really
The-
cool. I love it.
LA is nothing like New York. Trust me. I lived in New York for a little bit, and yeah, completely. Because New York's a city. You
Right.
know, it's like an actual city. When you get to LA, it's like more like a neighborhood based kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
small.
Yeah, yeah. It's really when I first got there, I was living with someone, and I was like, I'm gonna walk to
Yeah. Right.
a cafe, and she was like, No, you're not. You're gonna get run over. Don't do that. And I was like, oh, yeah. It's a really, but and I think a lot of Europeans and British people go over there, and I think they want it to be something that it's not. They
Yeah.
want it to be familiar. They want to be able to walk around it, and because they can't walk around it or they can't do this, that, and the other, they like push back against it, and they're like, "Oh no, I don't like LA for that reason." But I think if you if you accept it for what it is, and you kind of appreciate it for being different, actually, it's glorious.
Yeah. That's the key. You gotta really accept LA.
Yeah, right.
That's the key.
Don't try and make it something it's not.
No. No, don't try.
There won't be.
Um, I see that you made it into the Gazette newspaper.
I d-
How were you feeling when you made that? What was like what was going through your head when you made that headline?
you know, setting up a bit like being an actress is one thing, and it's hard, and all the things that everybody knows.
Yeah.
But actually, setting up a business which isn't acting, it's something completely different. It requires a totally different skill set, and I've done it kind of by myself with lots of help from friends or people, who I could use as a soundboard or give advice. But um, it, it's people love it, and it's going really well,
Yeah.
and it felt so nice to have it in print for people to be able to read about it, for
Hmm.
someone to be talking about it. It felt like proper validation, because it's so, setting up a business, so many hours of like unpaid graft.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of work, a lot of
Right.
dedication, a lot of dedication.
Right. So for any little bit of validation or support or kind of publicity or whatever it is feels so nice.
Just
Yeah.
like podcasting.
Right. Right. But as soon as someone's listening to you, as soon as someone shows you that they like what you're doing, anything, it feels great. Otherwise, it feels like you're just like putting it out into the void.
Yeah, exactly.
What am I doing? Like, what am I really doing here?
Right. Right. Maybe no one, maybe no one cares or is seeing this or whatever. So, but yeah, it always feels really nice when something kind of happens to kind of push you up a bit. It's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. That's really great. How was your? I see you worked with James Norton for a little bit from the show Northman. How was that? How was he? How was that?
So he is one of my oldest friends on the planet. We grew up together as kids. Um, and so I've never like he very sweetly said that he would do a charity fundraiser with me. I think it was the end of last year. I worked for a charity called the Theatrical Guild. Um,
Okay.
and the Theatrical Guild support people who work backstage in front of house in British theatres.
Okay.
And so we were doing this fundraising thing, and James Norton is a big star. And so he very sweetly, when I called him, was like, James, will you do me a favor? Come and let me kind of do this interview with him
Mm-hmm.
in front of a very generous and enthusiastic audience.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so nice. We just sat on stage in front of, I don't know, how many, 500 people or 400 people or whatever it was. And
Yeah.
because we've known each other forever, it felt super
Natural.
Organic.
relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt great. It was really fun, and the audience was super up for it. He's got these like mega fans. So they were there, just like lapping up everything he
Yeah,
had to say. It was great. Yeah, it was fun.
that's cool.
I love that.
Okay, I noticed. I want to ask you about this. So I see you did one track mind stories about songs that are life changing songs.
Yeah.
Can I ask you what song changed your life?
Yes, I found this so hard. I found it so hard. I did Fat Boy Slim right here, right now. No, we've come a long way. We've come a long way, baby. I did it. I was really cheesy. I did so with One Track Minds. It's this amazing show, and they get people to stand on stage and tell a story about a particular song or a story that is connected to a particular song,
Mm-hmm.
and it's this beautiful premise, and people, oh my god, the stories that come out of it are amazing, and the songs that come out of it are amazing. And I told the story about how my partner and I, years ago when we were like kids, drove around in like a clapped out old car listening to Fatboy Slim
Oh.
on like a tape, I think. Like
Yeah.
I mean, really super old school at the like loudest volume imaginable, and we just had a whole summer of it. So I
Oh wow.
told this like long extended story around that. It was cheesy, but it was true, and it was great.
Yeah.
Right. That's
A lot of
right.
nostalgia, especially with the tape and everything. So
Yeah, right, exactly. I don't even. I feel like we must still have it somewhere, but like
It's with the Benny doll.
yeah, exactly, exactly. It's in my daughter's bed, tucked under Betty's dagger, bloody dagger.
So I see that you did a show. It's about two boyfriends. Can you tell us more about this show? Because we were curious about
German,
we can't find these things here, and
right?
so it
It's
looks
a
interesting.
German TV show called Rosman Pilcher, which is
oh.
based on a series of novels written by, maybe she's called Rosamund Pilcher, and it's like massive in Germany, but we don't
Yeah.
get it here either in the
Okay.
UK. But it's filmed in, where were we? We were in Cornwall, and it's quite like, oh, what can I compare it to? There's just so each episode is like a standalone story with its own characters,
Yeah.
uh,
Right.
and it usually involves, you know, people with two boyfriends, or like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, a murder somewhere, or, you know, it's kind of great. And
Right
I
on.
but so it's like a German and English cast, but it's all in German.
Okay.
Okay.
And so we would we would film, and I'd be speaking English, and my German boyfriends would be speaking German. So,
Hmm.
but I also, that's not the first time I've done that. I did a production of Macbeth in Kyrgyzstan, where I played Lady Macbeth, but I was the only person in the show speaking English.
Yeah.
Everyone else
Oh,
spoke Kyrgyz, including my Macbeth. So we would have these like long conversations, these big scenes together, where we would just have to learn our cue in the other
okay.
language, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the whole language barrier and stuff.
Sorry.
Because of the whole language barrier.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah.
That's gotta be at times difficult unless you obviously see the cues, right? I mean,
You
but
know what? It was amazing, actually. And a play is different to a TV show, because obviously
right.
we
Yeah.
rehearsed for like a month, or whatever it was, 6 weeks. Uh, but actually, it's amazing how little you need the words themselves. Like, actually, we communicate so much with like intention and body language and all the rest of it, that actually acting opposite someone speaking in a foreign language that you don't speak is weirdly kind of freeing, and kind of an amazing way to connect to someone. It has to be quite kind of animal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know
I
this
can
is
see
like a
that.
weird comparison, but like I'm a pro wrestling fan, right? So there's a lot of times where people from different areas of the world, they'll compete, right? And they don't speak a lick of any of the language that the opposite person is from. So
Right.
they have to they literally have to do this dance around certain cues, you know,
Yeah.
and like as it's happening. So I can imagine it being it is different, but like I can imagine it being at times being like, okay, I got to make sure I see this or hear this thing,
Yeah.
in order to like jump in and
Yeah.
do my part,
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Um. So like when you're relaxing, you don't have work, thing. What do you like to do to like unwind?
You know what? At the moment, I have two children, and no time to unwind.
I can
If I
imagine that. Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
if I did, it would be a beautiful thing. And I mean, I do. So I do these Shakespeare courses in the evening, but if it's online, after I've finished, I do love watching TV and movies, and I read a lot. Um,
Okay.
and I live in the most beautiful place, so I love to go for a walk, or a run if I can. But
No.
I'm kind of classic, reading books and watching movies, and uh, they're kind of my two ways to just
Right.
relax.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's
Love that.
that's I don't know. As I'm getting older too, I'm like I don't want to do much, you know.
Right, right. I mean, I don't have to. I don't, it doesn't have to be wild. No, like hey, don't get me wrong. I do. I love to go. I mean, I go to the theater all the time.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so I do love that. That is my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
Um, and now I live in Wales. I'll like climb up mountains. But yeah, nothing. You know,
Yeah. I mean,
I'd like to
Eh.
learn to surf. Is what I would like to do.
Okay.
Let's see how that goes.
Yeah. So
Do you have like anything coming up in the horizon? Any new projects? Anything going on
Well,
with
you know
theater?
what? I'm waiting for the thing with feathers to come out, which will come out later this year.
Okay.
okay.
And yeah, like a few projects, maybe, but nothing concrete yet. But
Yeah.
the
Okay.
thing with feathers will be coming out, I think, later this year. So
Okay.
that will
I'm
be wonderful.
excited. I'm excited to see that.
Me
Um,
too.
Yeah, we're gonna
um,
check that out for sure.
yeah.
Me too.
Well, I think that's all I got for this. Um, again, thanks for jumping on. We really
Thank you
appreciate it.
so much. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Thank you for
It
inviting.
was lovely. It
Thank you.
was.
Yeah,
It was. I'm really glad this worked out and you jumped on because, like I said, I'm a big fan of the movie. I love Benny Loves You.
yeah,
I think it's a fucking fantastic movie, and
yeah. I love
it should have got an award.
I know,
or
right?
more than
Well,
yeah.
hey, maybe one day someone will just like find it and then it'll get
Yeah. Although I'm gonna get a petition going. We're gonna get this movie nominated for award.
do
That's
it.
for sure.
Let's do it. Let's
Also,
make it.
I hope there if there is a sequel, I hope to see you on it as well.
Yeah, me too. Hey, not no spoilers, but I didn't die.
True.
So.
Yeah.
That's
Well, you know
right.
how that goes in film. All right.
All right.
Well, we're gonna let you go, and again, thank you so much. You're lovely.
Thank you too. And
You
have
are. Thank you.
I mean, is it like midday with you guys? You got a whole
Yeah,
day
it's
today?
like
It's like an hour past noon.
Yeah,
yeah,
great. Oh, well, enjoy the
Our
rest of your
our
afternoon.
day just started.
Yeah,
yeah.
great.
I'm going to work after this, so.
All right. Nice to
All
speak
right.
to you guys.
A
Ciao.
pleasure to have you.